What's up, freaks? This is just me, and today we're gonna be ranking the 8 mandatory poses, including the most muscular, of the Golden Eagle Tom Platz, from worst to best. And we're gonna be considering the poses throughout the bodybuilder's whole career, meaning if a pose got significantly worse at the end of one's career, it's not gonna do as well in this video as a consistently good pose. So just to quickly introduce Tom Platz, he was also nicknamed the Quadzilla. He was one of the pioneers of great leg and quad development. He had some of the best calves, hamstrings, and especially quads of all time, and it's even more impressive that he competed during the 1980s and he was able to accomplish this sort of development as you're going to see in this video. According to many bodybuilding fans, he is an uncrowned Mr. Olympia because he should have won the 1981 Olympia contest despite his upper body not matching up to his legs. But let's start the countdown already, right? The weakest pose, as I see it, would have to be the front double biceps. I still think he looks pretty good in it, actually. There's nothing wrong with it. But here his lower section just blows his upper body out of the water, and in the front double biceps you don't really want the legs to overpower the arms like this. The V-taper doesn't look the greatest because the waistline could be a little bit smaller for sure, and he doesn't have arms to match his legs. So this pose, I mean, it doesn't look bad, but Tom's physique was just not suited for this pose. The outline of his and the muscle groups don't look that impressive if you ask me. And the second weakest pose, the most muscular if you ask me, even though it wasn't mandatory, I still included it because why not? Here, Tom Platz's legs really take away from his arms and the torso once again. It doesn't matter which old school variation he does, and he had a lot of great most muscular variation. He looks great in all of them, but he had much better poses than this. The upper body just doesn't look as good as the legs, and the legs definitely have a better display in other poses as well. But they still look like they belong to a different bodybuilder than the upper body, sort of, in this pose. So I don't find it that impressive. I think most of Tom Platz's contemporaries could have beaten him in this pose. And sixth, I have the front lat spread, which is a mandatory where the legs are usually an advantage, more so than in the front double biceps, for instance. And they do look more balanced with the upper body here, as I see it, because Tom's chest looks really good and his lats definitely look better than I personally would expect them to look. He had great lat development and he has a great sung in midsection. But in all honesty, this is still not a great pose. He doesn't really have a great X frame because he's not that wide upstairs. Theoretically, he should have a great X frame with those quad sweeps and the lats, but when you look at this pose, you can clearly see there's no pronounced X, and there's the outline is just not that great, with all due respect. So let's move on to fifth place, where this is the rear lat spread. And in this pose, he has the same problem. He just doesn't look very wide, not even downstairs this time. They had a different display for sure for the lower body. So if he had nowadays display, his glutes and the hamstrings, even calves, they would surely look a lot better, significantly better. But he doesn't look very aesthetic either way. He doesn't have a great V shape or outline, even though he has great details in his back So not that much of a great pose. But in fourth place, we have a great pose. This is the rear double biceps, which looks much better than the rear lat spread as I see it. His back looks much wider and still very thickly developed, and he's got a better V-taper than in the lat spreads. His lower body is not as overpowering as in other poses. Here it looks to be quite proportionate to the back, even though not to the arms. The arms could surely use a lot more size, especially the tricep sweeps, I think. And the delts could be a little bit bigger, that's for sure. But he still does have insane details and a grainy back development and great calves too. So this is not too shabby. The back of the Golden Eagle, if anything, I think it's quite underrated. And next up, let's move to third place. This is the side triceps for me because I think Tom's side poses were really, really strong. I would say stronger than the back poses for sure. I mean, look at the side leg of him. He had his own way of execution and he was able to make it work. So that's quite remarkable and quite commendable. As far as the upper body is concerned, a sucked in waistline and really densely developed pecs and the arms, they look supreme too. He has a cut horseshoe at least and some vascularity, so he really does look great in this pose. I think this is quite an underrated side triceps, even though his triceps is not as thick as some other guys that hit the side triceps pose well. He just has a really thick chest, nice abs, and a great hamstring hang. That's what I noticed about this pose. And in second, I have the side chest pose. This is the runner-up for me because I love the Golden Eagle in this pose. He hits it perfect, if you ask me. He looks absolutely insane on the money. Look at his lower body, once again, a different display than nowadays competitors use, but I personally might even prefer it, to be honest. It showcases the hamstring hang and the quad details that groove there very well. And as far as the upper body, I think he figured it out really well how to showcase that. He was not the most shredded, but sure looks impressive. He has a nice chest too. I think his chest was quite good. And first place is going to go to the ebb and thigh pose. And both Tom's abs and thighs are absolutely perfect. I think they were probably his two best body parts. Of course, the abs would have to battle the calves and the hamstrings first, but surely the abs of the Golden Eagle very very good, and the feathered humongous quads, that's amazing. They complete the pose perfectly. This is a really world class ab and thigh, I'm telling you. Definitely for me, a top 5 of all time. He doesn't only have mind-blowing quads, but he can back it up with the upper body in this pose better than in other mandatories. Good job in the execution, mostly too. The picture on the left-hand side is quite well known and quite legendary, I would say, in the bodybuilding community because the photographer just hit the angle perfectly and he just looks like an absolute god in that pose in that particular year. Amazing pose for him. So as always, let me know down in the comment section below whether you agree with me. You can try to do your own ranking. I think it's a great idea. I actually really enjoy ranking these mandatories. Other people don't seem to be as interested in it as I am, but I really enjoy it. Maybe if you try it, you will get addicted to it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to watch some Tom Platz videos and also like and subscribe. Enjoy the rest of your day.